Hello, boys and girls. The time has arrived. I've been talking about brakes for way longer than I ever thought I'd be doing, especially for all of you that watch and have to listen to me talk about it. I think I'm finally at a place where I can make good on my promises. And like I said before, this I don't think it's going to be a how-to instructional video. I'm what they call mechanically inclined. I am by no means a professional, and this is the first time that I have ever done anything with brakes. So, do you really want me showing you how to do this? I feel like you can probably find better sources. But I did kind of want to at least do something to, I guess, show my adventures. And I will kind of like tell how at least this front part here comes apart. And I did get the drum done on the back, so I'll pull that apart and kind of show you how that goes back together. But the internet is a wonderful source, and there's lots of people that'll show you every single step you need to do. I don't think I'm that guy. But anyway, I'll get on with it. Okay, so obviously here's the fronts. This whole assembly has to come off to get to the rotor there. So you've got all sorts of fun stuff that has to come off of this little splined axle right here. Here's a caliper. These are getting replaced. So are these brake lines. These hoses here anyway. And basically, they're just going to have to come off up here. There should be like a nut or something back here. And then pull them off the caliper, clean them up, and take them back for my nice core charge, which actually has already been paid for. I have good friends in the auto parts business. We do have, when you're taking this stuff off, I don't know how much, there's not really going to be a reference point here. I really should have taken some videos of this beforehand, but I wasn't thinking ahead. So you're going to have these little slide pins that basically just lock in here, and they set in these little grooves. So all you have to do is just take like a screwdriver, like a hammer, and just kind of slowly push these together, and then you can, once they're depressed, once they're close together, you just take a screwdriver and you can just drive them out with a hammer. And I got replacement ones. I got new ones with my calipers, so I'm not too worried about their condition. So anyway, next up, so you're gonna have the rotor setting right up against here. You're gonna have your brake pads that come out when you take the caliper off. Mine are toast, just awful. This side actually is a little bit better than the other side, I think, but there's not much left, and they're wearing pretty unevenly, so definitely need to be replaced. So to start off, what I did is you have your cap, basically sets out here, and you've got five little bolts, little screws to take out of there. And these are Torx bits. Once you get that off, there's going to be a cap with a bearing on it that you're going to want to pull out. You can just press those in, and there's little clips in there, and pop those out. So, when I'm doing this, I guess from what I've seen, was just to, I guess, kind of lay everything out in order. Makes it way easier to put back together. But then you've got a little clip here that will set in here, which actually goes, so if you're looking at it from here, everything's going to be sitting in this. So you pull that out. This little O-ring here just sits around the edge of this. I believe that's where it came from. I don't know. I'll figure that one out later. So basically you take that out, and then you've got this little clip here that is going to set right in here. So you basically just push these two together, and then you can remove this whole assembly. And like I said, it's all going to be coming out of here. So you push those two together, remove this. Don't take this out. I made the mistake of pulling this whole spring out, and it was a pain in the ass to put back together, and I didn't need to. So live and learn on that one. And then after that, you're gonna have this clip here, which sits down in here, and then you've got your like thrust washer or spline spacer, whatever you want to call it. I broke this on the other side because I just decided to grab my impact, because this one is usually on pretty tight. So I just kind of went for it, and this came out in pieces. So if you do that, I looked all over the internet for this, and it's got 19 teeth on it. The one I ordered had 22 or 23 on it, so that didn't work. And I ended up like basically two-daying this piece here. And from what I heard was they replaced that with this little 3-ring job here. And they were nice enough to send me like how everything lays out. So you've got your basically your spline spacer, and then you've got a plastic spacer, and then a metal one, and that's how they go together. So if you're looking for that, I found mine on, God, what was it called? Like 4x4 Torque King or something like that. I can't remember. But you can look online and generally find these. So I think that's the new thing. Or just, you know, go to a Ford dealer. My buddy that I talked to yesterday when I was buying parts said that he was pretty sure. He used to work at a Ford dealer here in town, and he said he was pretty sure that they would have this. So it might just be easier. And none of this is really all that expensive. So anyway, so then, well, I guess I'm kind of doing this backwards. Oh, there's my needle nose pliers. Great. So okay, so yeah, that stuff comes out. This one, like I said, is usually torqued in pretty good. So you can get a breaker bar or an impact on it. That helps. And this is what I got to do that. I hope you can see this. It's got a part number on it. It's just a 4-lug spindle nut remover deal. 6484773, 2 3/8 inch. It's just got 4 little teeth on it. So this isn't expensive either. This was pretty cheap. And I'm guessing you could probably find this locally too if you really want to. I was just sitting around watching YouTube videos on how to do all this thing at night, and I'm going, I don't feel like going anywhere. Obviously it's like 11:30, so I'm just going to start buying stuff on the internet. And that seemed to work out okay. So anyway, then this thing sets behind it. And this thing it's not torqued down. It's really simple to remove. It just comes right off, obviously. On some of these, I had heard, and you can check and see if yours has it, but on some of these you'll have like a little pin that protrudes out of here. And it's either this one or this one. It might be this one. Yeah, there it is right there. Okay. So you want to have that pin. It's sitting right there. I don't know if you can see that very well or not. Basically that pin wants to line up with this. Kind of holds it in place. So make sure if you have that you're conscious of where it's at and how that needs to line up. And then obviously you have your wheel bearing here, which is the last thing that goes on. And generally when you pull this, after all of this stuff is out, your rotor and hub will come off. So your wheel bearing is probably going to come out with that. You're probably not going to, I don't think you're going to be able to pull it out once you get this stuff out. So just, you'll feel it, just pull it out. and this should pop it off. So, and then you want to kind of check these when you're reinstalling them if you're not getting new ones. God, I hope this isn't so close. I'm kind of in a confined space here. I hope you can actually see what I'm doing. But I'm going to clean this up, and I'm going to repack it with some grease. And this is definitely going to be a dirty job, so get used to it. Love it. It's how it works. But yeah, it does sit in here. And then basically it's just the reverse. Everything just goes back on as it came off. Just get those in there once all that stuff's back on. So, like I said, this is very uninformative and just pretty much me talking to myself for however long this video is. So if you've made it this far, I appreciate it. You know, like I said, there's not a whole lot of information that's going to be in this. That's just kind of the parts layout. So, and I just put rags and stuff over this so they didn't get too dirty. But I'm probably going to end up cleaning all this stuff up eventually. So for this, you're going to have your wheel studs that come out here. Mine came out really easy. I just put some penetrating fluid, some penetrating oil on each one, let it set for like a night. And then I came out, and this is the sacrificial lug nut that I used. Just put that on the top right there, and then I just took a sledge and basically just tapped down on top until those wheel studs came out. So if you have an air hammer, it's even easier. And if you plan on replacing the lug studs, you can just go to town on top of those with a hammer if you really want to. But I didn't really want to replace them, so I didn't want to like mushroom the heads out or flatten them out and screw up how the lug nuts went on. So I will show this completed at the end, and maybe putting it all back together, and we'll see how that goes. I don't have any, I don't know, I still don't have a tripod or anything, so just really isn't any place to put a GoPro over here, because yeah, this is pretty confined space. I don't have a lot to work with here. So alright, onward to the back. And I'm gonna have a beer because I've earned it. Okay, back here, this has been done. This took me, like I said, way too long. It's just annoying as all hell. So, it's my new drum. I hope you can have enough light to see this. And actually, let me go grab my little work light my brother bought me. Okay, so there you go. There's your drum brake. Basically, my best, what I was given for advice from the videos I watched and stuff like that is when you're taking this stuff apart, there's a tool that you can buy. Actually, let's go find it right now. There's a tool you can buy for like dirt cheap. And obviously, you do get what you pay for, but it helps. This is, I can't remember what I paid for this, but it wasn't much. So, but this is a good like brake tool. Helps you get the springs and stuff off. Because on these, at least on these, everything is like spring loaded. And doing this by yourself can be really annoying at times. So, I'll show you, see if I can show you this real quick. So basically you just take this end right here, and when you're taking these off, you basically just wrap it around here and just twist, and then it pops these off. So you'll have that spring, this spring, and then you've got a cable that runs down here to your parking brake. I'll get this light going here. Goes down to your parking brake, and you got another spring on there. These are the biggest pain in the ass of the whole project, and I don't think I'll have close-up to show you, but there's a little pin that sets down in here, and you basically have to push that cup and either spin the pin or spin the cup to where it releases it from a little groove, and then putting it back on is the exact opposite. You just twist, and that was a nightmare. So, and I did replace the wheel cylinders as well, and what that involves, you can see back here, is you got to release that here, back there we go, release that brake line. And I was told if this starts twisting, you can just pull that wheel cylinder out a little bit and just spin the wheel cylinder off, and then here's your bleeder valve. You just pop that off, because you can't take the wheel cylinder off with this still on, I don't believe. And then you've got two bolts back here. I don't remember the size, 7/16 maybe a little bit bigger, but yeah. So anyway, I mean, this one is done for all intents and purposes, and I'm glad. I only have one left to do, which is this whole thing. And I already went ahead and sprayed a whole bunch of brake clean on it just to clean it up. But you know, like I said, when you're taking stuff apart, just, you know, obviously you take that top spring off first, just lay it down, and you can kind of lay them down in the pattern, so that way you know how they go back on, or take pictures, that stuff. It helps a lot, just because there's a bunch of holes in the shoes, so it helps to know where they go. And I got a new hardware kit and all that stuff, so I wanted to replace all that while I was in here, so I don't have to worry about this again for a while. I get to do drum brakes on the Mustang at some point in time, so really looking forward to that. Oh, and another thing I want to mention, so we're taking those brake lines off in the back of that wheel cylinder. If you're doing that, get some of the like brake line tools, I think is what they're called, or I don't know. They'll know if you're like me at the auto parts and you're like, oh, I need those wrenches for the brake line things. Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, anyway, they helped me out. So they'll know what you're talking about. But I mean, that's pretty much it. I'll show you the end result, hopefully when I get back together sometime this weekend, I'm guessing. But all right, show you what I got when I get done.